Hey Webelos, welcome to our first Den meeting here in May. As always, I'm your Den leader, Sheldon. Let's go ahead and stand up for our Pledge of Allegiance, Scout Oath, and Scout Law.
All right. Scout salute. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 2. Please join me in the Scout sign and repeat the Scout Oath. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country and to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. Please join me in the Scout law. A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. 2.
Hey Webelos, today we have a special guest with us who's going to talk about how we can be safe in water, and not only that, but some really cool activities we can do in water, how we can prep ourselves for that. We also have a really cool thing about PFDs and what are PFDs and how we can use them safely. Come join us.
Welcome, Cub Scouts. My name is Daniel Edmondson, and we're here today to talk about water safety. I've been a lifeguard for 15 years, as well as being a swim instructor, and I've taught everyone from beginners to advanced swimmers. And we're going to cover some topics today to go over in the water so that you can be more safe in a swimming environment. One of the most important things to remember about a safe swim environment is that it's supervised, meaning there's a lifeguard watching you or a responsible adult nearby that's there in case of emergencies and to enforce rules around the swim area. Make sure that supervision does not necessarily mean that your older brother is there watching you. It means that there's a responsible adult who knows how to respond in an emergency. If there is no lifeguard on duty or there is no adult, then it is not a safe swim environment, and you should wait until you can get somebody there with you. Next thing you can do to keep yourself safe in the water is make sure that you are a strong swimmer. Having supervision is important, but knowing your own swim ability is key to having a safe and fun swim session, which means that you should be practicing your swim skills. Learn your front float, learn your back float, learn your front crawl. Learn all of the different swimming strokes that you can and keep your body physically strong so that you can keep on top of the water. Something else that's important that we talk about is what is a safe swim area? Anywhere there's water? Definitely not. We want to make sure that we're swimming in designated swim areas that are safe. For example, if you jump into water where you can't see the bottom, you might be landing on something like a stick of rock that can hurt you. So before swimming in any swim area, whether it's at a pool with clear water or a lake with cloudy water, you want to know that it's a safe swim area, that it's been cleared of debris, that it's somewhere that you can swim safely, where you're not going to get tangled, and that you have an adult supervising you. Now, we're all familiar with who the lifeguard is, right? That's the person at the pool who's there to enforce rules and keep you safe. They're also expert swimmers, so if they need to go into the water to help somebody, they know how. You should know who the lifeguard is because they have the whistle around their neck. They're usually sitting in a chair that has a high elevation so that they can see the entire swim area. The lifeguard is someone that you want to be paying attention to. If you hear that whistle, you need to turn and look at them and see if they're trying to get your attention. They might be trying to let you know of an unsafe situation or trying to enforce something that's going to keep you safe. Your lifeguards are your friends, so you should know who they are. They're there to help. They're excellent swimmers and they know everything about their pool area. So if you have questions, ask the lifeguard. Now, in addition to having a lifeguard on duty, there should be other adults around. There should be someone there who's watching the entire group, that knows the entire group, and is paying attention to the entire swim area. They may help you with getting a life jacket, or helping you do your swim test, or figuring out who's your buddy for the buddy system. So we've already talked about your swimming ability and being a strong swimmer in the water. But if you've ever been to camp, you know that we do a swim test. We want to see how you are in the water. We want to see if you know how to float, if you can be in water that's deeper than you can touch. This is for your safety. And you don't want to be peer pressured into going into water that's too deep for you or an environment that's above your skill level. So it's important to be in a group that's with your own level of ability. When you are with a group and they're assigning ability, you want to take your swim test and do the best you can, but don't be swimming in an environment that makes you feel uncomfortable. You're all familiar with the buddy system. We use this a lot. It's super important around a pool or lake. So if you've been assigned a buddy, you need to know where they are at all times. If they get out of the water, you need to get out of the water with them. You should be able to see them and point to them and know exactly where they are. If a lifeguard or a parent comes by and asks where your buddy is, you should be right next to him the whole time. All right, Scouts, we've given you a lot to think about. There's all kinds of different swim environments, and they all have different rules. So it's your responsibility to know those rules and to follow them. We're going to talk about something a little bit more serious right now, and that's that even the strongest of swimmers can end up in trouble. If someone swims out and gets tired, or they have a muscle cramp, or they swallow some water, a strong swimmer can turn into a drowning situation very quickly. So we need to know how to react to that situation. Something we want to remember in rescue situations is that your own safety is really important. We don't want to put you in a situation where you are being unsafe by trying to perform a rescue beyond your abilities. But there might be cases where someone needs help and there might not be an adult or lifeguard around. So there's a couple of things you can do. If the person is close enough to you, step one is reach. You want to be able to try to reach out to this person with a branch, a flotation device, a pool noodle, anything where you can lay on the deck or on the beach and extend your reach out to them and give them something to grab onto. Once they've grabbed on, pull them to safety. If they're too far for you to reach with something, throw something like a ring buoy, a life jacket, a pool noodle. If they have something to hang on to, then they should be able to calm down. And at that point, rescue is going to be much easier. In a situation where someone is in the water and struggling and you can't reach them or throw something to them, you might be able to row out to them. If there's a boat, paddleboard, surfboard that you can row out to your victim to perform the rescue, that's what you should do. We've gone over a lot of rules already, and if people are following them correctly, these situations shouldn't happen. But if someone's struggling and you're the only person there to help, you want to try those reach, throw, or row. But if you can't do any of those things, you might be the person doing this rescue. But you need to remember how to keep yourself safe. People who are drowning will grab onto anything they can to stay at the surface, and that might include you. So if you're going out to save this person, make sure you bring something that floats with you. Whether it be a life jacket, a pool noodle, have something that you can extend out to them like a towel. You want to try to keep some distance between you and the victim so that they don't grab onto you, because then you're both drowning. So you want to remember, if you're going out to save this person, hand them something where you can tow them to safety, and make sure that this is something that's within your swim abilities. If it's not, then you need to run and get someone else who can help right away. All right, Scouts, thank you for joining us today. I want you to keep those swim skills going, because someday you might be the lifeguard, and we want to make sure that you know everything you can about water safety. Have a good summer.
Hey Scouts, so today we're going to talk about something really cool, and that is called a PFD. Now, I've never heard PFDs before. They're also called life preservers, but we're not going to call them life preservers. And that's because they can't actually always save your life. Like, I can't put a PFD on and walk outside and be struck by lightning and survive. Or I can't even go in the water and it's not guaranteed to save my life if I'm drowning in the water. So we call them PFDs, which is also known as Personal Flotation Device. So with me today, I have our two fellow den leaders. Why don't you guys come on in? As always, we've got our awesome den leader, Annie, and our other awesome den leader, Ben. And we're gonna go through some PFDs on the table I have here and talk about each one and see if they fit us. So first off, whenever you wanna pick out a PFD, Ben and Annie, you always wanna look for a little wording on it. For instance, this awesome pink one over here. So right here, it says infant/child, and it says the user must weigh less than 50 pounds. So the reason for that is because when you grab onto this, when we're trying to float in the water, this is gonna help us float, but if we're too heavy, it's just gonna sink with us. So we have to make sure we grab a correct PFD when we're in the water, so that way it helps us float. All right, our next one here, oh, this one's actually pretty heavy. This one says 0 pounds to 30 pounds. Well, we all know over 50. So our next one over here, which is more of a classic one a lot of us see that just clamps over our shoulders. This one says 30 to 50 again, so that's maybe too light. And our bigger one is adult, and it says you have to weigh more than 90 pounds.
I know I do. Me too.
You do. So Annie, why don't you put on this one?
Feels pretty good.
Now what we're going to do is we're going to test to see if this will help Annie float. So Annie, why don't you come stand right in front of me, and whenever you want to put on a life jacket, you want to grab the shoulders and lift up. You see how it's stopping right at her chin? Sorry, Annie. When it stops at your chin, that means when you jump in the water and try and float, you at least the life jacket will go boom, right over your shoulders. Not life jacket, PFD. Even I mess up, Scouts, and that's okay. So this PFD is good to go for Annie. All right, let's see our next one. This one's an adult again. You have to be more than 90 pounds for this one. Ben, I think this one will work for you, right?
All right, let's try it out.
Yeah, and again, like I said with Annie, so I'm gonna lift this up. It's not going over his head. So what's really cool is about this one that Annie's wearing over here is this one is we commonly see when we're on a dock or maybe on a boat, right? Because we always want to be safe, so we always have our PFD around. This one we see over here, a lot of times people will use as an extra. This is my extra PFD that sits underneath my seat inside my boat, just in case maybe somebody doesn't have one, or there's a situation where we need to throw a PFD to somebody.
And I know I've been on a ferry a couple times, and I usually see these on a ferry boat as well.
So, next time you check out a PFD, one, make sure your weight requirement is right. Two, always wear a PFD if we're anywhere near the water, whether that be fishing, boating, even if we're swimming and we're watching people, if we're unsure about the water, maybe we're too scared, wearing a PFD is always okay because we're always about safety within Scouts. So that's a little bit about PFDs. Thank you, Annie and Ben, for joining me. Remember, they're not life jackets or life preservers, they're PFDs, personal flotation device. Catch you guys next time. All right, Scouts, now that we have our correct PFDs on, we went over how we can wear them and when we want to wear them. Now, I really want to go boating. But before we go boating, there's a couple things we want to do before we even get in the boat. One is that's making sure we have a buddy. As a Scout, we always want to continue to follow that buddy system, so make sure we have a buddy with us in that boat. Always let somebody else know that you're going boating, so that way they know that you're safe and they know where you are if you don't come in on time. Our next part we have to do is making sure everybody in the boat has a PFD. Even if they're not a Scout and they don't want to wear one, at least having one in the boat is really important. But I know all of our Scouts and our Scout leaders will always wear a PFD. Another really important part about boating is making sure we are safe to swim. Do your BSA swim test to make sure you're safe to go out in those deeper areas. When you are swimming, making sure that you're comfortable with the area you are in. For instance, I know I don't want to go swimming in the middle of the ocean, so I'm not comfortable to swim there. But I'm always comfortable to swim on the shoreline of the ocean or go ahead and swimming in one of our Great Lakes here in Minnesota. Our third part is making sure our equipment is ready. For instance, if I'm going to go on a motorboat, I always need to make sure I have oars with me, because just in case my motor all of a sudden dies or I run out of gas, I need to be able to row into shore to be safe, because there may not be other boats out there for us to call on to. So when we want to go boating, make sure you follow those steps to make sure you're safe and secure and always have fun. So I don't know about you, but I'm going to go ahead and head out and go on the lake. See you guys next time. Bye. Hey Webelos, it was an awesome time today talking about water safety and how we can be safe in the water. Make sure you next time don't use that pesky word life preserver and always use PFD, because that's really important we use that in Scouts. Join us next time when we get to talk about geology, where our rocks come from in our great state of Minnesota and where other rocks come from around the United States as well. So make sure you join us next time for that so we can really get down into our geology section. All right, Webelos, I'll see you next time. Bye.